5 things rich people never buy, but poor people strive to purchase even by going into debt. Ladies and gentlemen, many people complain that their wallets empty too quickly, without knowing where their money has gone. Therefore, consider cutting out unnecessary expenses that the wealthy would never spend even a penny on. A Japanese financial expert has pointed out that the difference between the rich and the poor lies in how they spend their money. Despite being financially comfortable, the rich never waste money on unnecessary things, while the poor, despite their financial difficulties, tend to spend very freely. This is one of the key reasons why the rich keep getting richer, while the poor remain stuck in poverty. Here are some items that millionaires refuse to spend money on, but many people, even when broke, are still willing to go into debt to buy. Lesson 1. The expensive house. One of the hottest and most widely discussed topics recently is about buying a house. Some people, after purchasing a house, become wealthy, while others gradually decline, seeing their careers falter. So why does this happen? Some attribute it to their circumstances. For example, I became poor because of buying a house, due to poor asset management. Buying a house beyond one's financial means can lead to this. For the past 15 years, my family has not traveled as much as before, reflecting on the true reasons behind your home purchase. First, answer the question: is your home an asset or a liability? In a best-selling book titled Rich Dad Poor Dad, the author discusses whether a house is an asset or a liability, which will be determined by its cash flow direction. The author clearly states that assets are things that can generate money and put it into your pocket, while liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. The poor typically use their wages to cover living expenses and use any remaining money to buy liabilities. Consequently, they end up paying monthly interest, preventing any increase in savings, even if income rises. In contrast, the rich use their income to buy assets, which generate more money. With increased income, they buy more assets, generating even more cash. Eventually, the rich no longer need to work but still earn regular income from their assets, steadily becoming wealthier. Why do many people, despite having very high salaries, still struggle to achieve financial freedom? Perhaps their high salaries are offset by equally high living expenses. Their substantial income allows them to buy beautiful houses and new cars, seemingly leading a fascinating and happy life. However, in reality, they accumulate a large number of liabilities due to mortgages, car loans, children's education costs, and family living expenses. Consequently, they work tirelessly just to meet these enormous expenditures. After paying off bills for 1 month, they immediately face the pressure of paying bills for the next month, trapped in a cycle where their work primarily serves to cover these debts. If someday a family member faces an unexpected situation and cannot work temporarily, these financial obligations immediately become a significant burden. We must understand the essence and income sources of the wealthy, primarily from assets, while the income of the poor mainly comes from wages. Furthermore, the poor often possess a significant amount of consumer goods. In general, Asians, including Vietnamese people, highly value home ownership. When they accumulate a considerable sum of money, instead of investing it to generate more wealth, they use all available capital and loans to buy a house. There's an old saying that the rich don't live in large houses, and the poor don't travel far. A financial expert once said, "I choose to buy a small house to free myself from debts, retire early, and travel comfortably for many months each year. With my financial capability, I could afford a larger house, but both my wife and I opt out of that choice." If a house is merely for living, it becomes a liability. So, if not wealthy, why struggle with loans to buy a consumer good? It's best to buy a modest, adequate home without extravagance. Don't burden yourself with debt just for appearances. If you want to be wealthy, think carefully before buying a house. Consider and answer clearly. Is that house an asset or a liability? Lesson 2. Buying a car. Although cars can enhance everyone's mobility, they also bring troubles. For many families, owning a car is a significant burden. Especially since most people finance their car purchases through loans, the frenzy of car loans with initially attractive interest rates has led to an increasing number of borrowers. However, many people buy cars impulsively, leading to bank debts. Most banks offer loans up to 80% of the car's value, meaning customers need only 20% upfront to own a vehicle. The rest can be financed through installment plans. Some banks even offer 100% financing, requiring customers to pledge certain assets. Therefore, buying a car seems straightforward due to these financing options. Mr. Nam lives in Hanoi and works for a construction company. Despite his workplace being not too far from home, he always felt the need to buy a car. He believed having a car would offer convenience, enabling him to take his family on trips and visit relatives. When offered a favorable loan with a low interest rate, Mr. Nam decided to borrow 30% of the car's value from the bank, estimating around 300 million Vietnamese dongs over a period of 4 years. Initially, the monthly repayments of both principal and interest amounted to approximately 8 million Vietnamese dongs, which seemed manageable at the time. His family was excited about the new purchase and frequently organized outings. However, Mr. Nam soon began to feel the financial strain. In addition to the monthly loan repayments, which totaled 8 million Vietnamese dongs, there were other expenses such as parking fees, 1.5 million Vietnamese dongs per month, fuel, maintenance costs, and unexpected expenses, adding up to over 5 million Vietnamese dongs each month. After 3 months, the bank increased the interest rate from an initial 7% to 11.5%. With his salary of nearly 17 million Vietnamese dongs, Mr. Nam struggled to keep up with the payments and support his family, worrying about the looming debt over the next 4 years. Dining out became limited to more expensive restaurants, an unforeseen consequence of owning a car. Feeling anxious about his financial situation and the future of his children's education, Mr. Nam decided, after 5 months, to borrow money from friends and family to pay off the bank loan early, accepting the associated penalties. Subsequently, he sold the car to settle his debts. Reflecting on his experience, Mr. Nam concluded that whether buying a new or used car, it should align with one's financial capacity. Taking out loans merely to impress neighbors or friends leads to prolonged hardship and financial stress. Lesson number 3. Planning for a lavish wedding can be costly. A wedding marks a significant milestone, where two people in love embark on a new phase together. The question of how much to spend on this milestone is often a headache for many couples, as wedding expenses can be exorbitant. However, many people spare no expense and spend extravagantly on this important day. A 2014 study by economic experts suggests that couples who spend more on their weddings tend to have shorter marriages. Of course, wealth is not the reason why the affluent do not prefer to host grand and extravagant parties. The practical reason is that weddings are primarily ceremonial and superficial events. This is not to diminish their importance, but with the influence of media and the wedding industry, the costs of weddings have skyrocketed over time. Wealthy individuals understand the value of money and are cautious before spending, even on the smallest things. They would never spend hundreds of millions on an event just for applause and praise from those around them. Lesson number 4. The latest technology gadgets. It cannot be denied that in today's era, technology has made significant contributions to human life. However, it's unclear when many people started to develop the habit of chasing after luxurious technological goods. The wealthy never hesitate to spend money on the newest electronic gadgets, even if their current ones are still functioning well. On the other hand, those with moderate incomes are willing to spend a fortune on these items, often without fully utilizing their functionalities. In doing so, they are merely wasting time and money. Lesson number 5. The high cost of education. Billionaires around the world believe that free public education is not much different from expensive international education programs. What determines success in life is discipline, determination, and perseverance, along with professional experience and life skills, which are more important than a university degree. Therefore, an expensive educational environment is just a small part of helping someone succeed. However, those with average incomes believe that an expensive education is a ticket to success in life. They may even have to take out enormous loans to cover the costs of their children's education, potentially leading to financial struggles for both themselves and their offspring. Here concludes our sharing. Thank you all for your attention and support. We wish all of you good health and peaceful moments with your family and loved ones. Thank you, and see you again in the next videos. Summary of the book. Wishing you success.